I'd like to welcome you all to the roundtable of June 22nd. I want to start with a quote. I believe one of the greatest quotes in American history, wrongly attributed to Bobby Kennedy. The truth is, this quote was penned before Robert Francis Kennedy was even born. In 1921, by George Bernard Shaw, he wrote the words in his otherwise forgettable play, Back to Methuselah, and the words went something like this. Some men see things as they are and say, why? I dream things that never were, and say, why not? This world has been transformed by men and women who use the term, why not? And today I'm going to bring up examples of people, both as speakers and as the great people from history who've altered this world with those two words. I want to start with one of the most famous, a man whose name would be instantly recognized by everyone in this room. Shmuel Gelbfish.
Oh, heaven.
Of course. You've never heard of Shmuel Gelbfish? Polish immigrant, born in Warsaw, 1879, practically walked to the United States, walked 500 miles to Hamburg, worked 2 years as a laborer, got on a boat, came to New York, hardly spoke English. So they sent him to Gloversville, New York to manufacture gloves. He did that for 2 years, back-breaking labor. And then he went to the Boston glove factory. He said, I want to sell. I think I can sell. And the boss said, you can't speak English. I don't care. I can sell. I promise you, I can sell. And with a persistence that no one has ever seen, Shmuel Gelbfish went out there and became the #1 glove salesman in the Northeast. He was spectacular. He was making $10,000 a year, which in these days is about $100,000. Spectacular? No. Rich? No. But he was making a living. But then his life was altered. On a regular day, at the end of a very hard work day, he walked by Herald Square. And in 1910, they had a new form of entertainment called the Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon was a short film. They called them flickers. A 10-minute short film, and Shmuel Gelbfish sat through that 10 minutes, and in those 10 minutes, his life was transformed. He asked himself, why 10 minutes? Why not tell an entire story? Why not tell the great novels of the world in an hour and a half? Why had no one done this? Why not? He called his brother-in-law, Jesse Lasky. Jesse Lasky was a vaudeville performer with his sister Blanche in the early days, and now a well-respected, well-recognized vaudeville producer. And Jesse Lasky said, I don't want anything to do with this new medium. I don't think there's anything to this newfound medium of film. I'm going to stay with vaudeville. And for 2 years, Shmuel Gelbfish persisted. And for 2 years, he never stopped asking Jesse Lasky, why not? And after 2 years, Jesse Lasky said, okay, I'll do it, but we need a director. And he found one, down on his luck. An obscure young man by the name of Cecil B. DeMille. They had a problem. They had to get around the Edison Trust. So they sent DeMille to California. And a very famous telegram DeMille sent to Shmuel Gelbfish. It said, found a barn for shooting in a small town called Hollywood. And in 6 weeks, they filmed The Squaw Man, the first feature-length film ever made in Hollywood. By 1914, it had played in every single theater in the United States to a packed house. Audiences loved it. And the three men, Gelbfish, Lasky, and DeMille, overnight were wealthy beyond their dreams. Not only that, the theater chains gave them another 11 films. This caught the attention of one, Adolf Zucker. He was the movie maven in those days, and he joined forces. There was a problem. See, Shmuel Gelbfish was a contentious, combative kind of guy. Not that I would know anything about that personality type. But he butted heads with Adolf Zucker constantly. And Zucker went to Jesse Lasky and said, it's him or me. And to everyone's amazement, Jesse Lasky chose Adolf Zucker over his brother-in-law. And they fired Shmuel Gelfish, and then went on to become Paramount Pictures. But he was undaunted. He got $1 million for his shares. So he joined forces with two Broadway producers by the names of Archie and Edgar Selwyn. They were well-known, well-respected Broadway producers, and they went to Culver City, and they made 23 films per year for the next 2 years. They were monstrously successful. And the first thing they did is they fired Shmuel Gelfish. But he got another $1 million for his shares. Now, here's a question. When Shmuel Gelfish started his third production company, how many partners do you think he had? And all he did was change the model for movie making to the greatest model in cinema history. This man controlled every aspect of movie making, from production to marketing to distribution. He micromanaged the production to bring it to a level of quality no one had ever seen. And if he didn't like the distribution terms, he built his own theater, which he actually did for a movie called Up in Arms. And if he didn't like the terms, he sued the major theaters, which he did in 1950 in a very successful antitrust lawsuit, and got his own distribution terms. And in the next 30 years, Shmuel Gelfish produced the greatest movies America has ever seen. Wuthering Heights, The Best Years of Our Lives, Dead End, Dodsworth, Aerosmith, These Three, The Little Foxes, Pride of the Yankees, Guys and Dolls, Porgy and Bess, Up in Arms. Of course, by then, he had anglicized his name to Samuel Goldwyn. Jeff Ross is our modern version of Samuel Goldwyn. He's been a writer, a producer, and a director his entire life. Among the movies he's produced: The Scarlet Letter with Demi Moore, The Broadway Brawler with Bruce Willis, Shadow Conspiracy with Charlie Sheen, Lost and Found Family. Among the movies he's directed: Night of Fire, The Making of the Celestine Prophecy, Las Vegas Up Close. Now working on a new movie called Definitive Measures, based on a book written by the great, and I mean the great, Napoleon Hill. Many of you know I cut my teeth on Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich when I was 21 years of age, and was so inspired by the book I started my business soon after. Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. Oh, for those of you who haven't read it, I urge you to sit down and read it tonight. This is going to make one hell of a movie. And how is Jeff Ross going to do it? He's going to resurrect a model that was long dead since Samuel Goldwyn made his last film in 1959. By micromanaging production, controlling marketing and distribution, he is going to guarantee top quality product and profit. For Jeffrey Ross, I might rephrase George Bernard Shaw's statement to the following: some men see things as they are and say, why? I dream things that once were and say, why not now? The great Jeffrey Ross.